Okay.
Guess we can
We
start.
could talk over the fade out, right?
Yeah, right there. It's done.
That's cool. That sounds very professional when you do that.
Yeah, it seemed like it only faded out in one ear for me though.
Sounded good over here. Hi. I haven't talked to you for like a month now, right? It feels like.
It's been a month. Yeah, well, you were here in person for about a month ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
More
okay.
than a month ago. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
We had the game night.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone watching, Sean asked me if I wanted to do a video call, just catch up. And I'm like, let's stream it. And so here we are. We're still going through like our catching up. You can watch two friends catching up after weeks of not talking.
Yeah, I called. Yeah, it was like over an hour ago, just to catch up, and he was like, "All right, let's set up for a podcast." We were sitting here doing all the technical stuff to set up for it. And,
It took a solid hour, right, to try and figure out.
No plan. Yeah, like I think you mentioned. Yeah, we can set up. We take notes about what we're going to talk about. We never took notes.
Oh,
though,
shit.
you know.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Sorry, you're going to get like a subpar episode of meandering and stuttering.
I don't know if you can see. I'm covered with spackle. Like I had just gotten back from working on the cabin. I'm working on here in North Country, New York.
How is the cabin coming along?
It is coming along. All of the drywall is up.
Did you get a drywall lifter?
We did not.
Oh shit.
Bob is very much a professional because he used to be the maintenance guy for an apartment complex, so he's done drywall and all that stuff for years and years and years. So he was like balancing it on his head and stuff, and God bless him, I couldn't have gotten it done without him. And now I'm doing all the spackling stuff, so I'm covered with spackle.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm hoping in the next few weeks I will get the spackling done, the painting done, and the flooring in. But it's been slow. The spackle's real slow work because my brain can only do it for like 2-3 hours tops, and then I'm like, I'm done. Like anyone who does it for a living, you're amazing.
You got to put up pictures. I want to see it.
I always hate doing that, but
Yeah,
I like when other people do it. I hate doing it myself.
Yeah, content. Come on.
Yeah, all right. I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
It'll be of a nail in the floor. Yeah, an update on the cabin.
So like, yeah, a month ago I came to visit you. A month, and then
and it was a pretty terrible visit. I was very sick.
You were sick.
You got a speeding ticket.
Yeah, I drove 6 to 8 hours. Right? How long of a drive is it? It's about
like
6
hours.
6 hours. And like in the very last stretch, maybe a mile out from your house, I got pulled over because there's like a little speeding trap. And then you were very sick, as you mentioned. I think you had COVID. I really do, because I did not get sick. I have COVID antibodies.
Well, if I did have it, I didn't spread it to anybody.
Yeah.
So it was like my sister was sick, and then Bob was sick, and I didn't know my sister was sick. So when Bob started getting sick, I was like, "Oh no!" And I basically got sick as you were driving up. Like I was feeling like the day before, I was kind of feeling sick, and then by the time you got there, I was like full. And I was still working, so I had to work night shift. So I didn't sleep, and I was sick. And like at one point, I knocked your guitar over and broke it.
I fixed it, by the way. It's fine.
Oh, thank God!
Yeah, it was it was an easy fix.
Like you were like, it's okay, it's fixable. I'm like, it's not okay, but But thank you for saying it's okay. Like, it's never okay to
It
knock
totally-
someone's guitar over and break it.
Yeah, it was totally fine though.
Nah, yeah, it is fine now. Yeah. But yeah, and we were supposed to like work on music and stuff, but the cabin wasn't done right, and it was freezing cold, and
But
it just
from your perspective, like it's all this stuff, but it is a gorgeous place. Like I put up pictures of the Adirondacks on my Instagram, and everyone could see it. It's just amazing, like the view, the scenery, and then we took a drive down to Lake Placid. That's a super cool area. I guess you probably look at it as touristy. Is it kind of like
no, I don't think of it. I mean, I do think of it as a tourist town because it's the Olympics were held there in the 80s, and they've been kind of riding that wave to bring tourists in and stuff. And they have all the kitschy stores. Like there's like 2 or 3 beef jerky stores. We're like, you want to go to that beef jerky store, or there's one, half a block down over there. And they have all these woodworking things and a really cool bookstore I went to. I like Lake Placid. It's where my doctor's office is, so I go there frequently.
Yeah, so I had a ton of fun, and I definitely want to go back. Maybe when it's not as cold, because it's very scenic when the snow is all over the place, but it's fucking cold up there.
Yeah, it's like I think 6 degrees out there right now, and the wind chill brings it down to like -25 or something.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean it was in the teens when you were here. It was cold.
Yeah, does the cabin hold heat now?
It does. The floor doesn't, but that's because I haven't put the flooring insulation down and everything. But the rest of it holds heat much better.
All right.
Yeah, I put up insulation. Yeah, so basically this cabin is just sort of like my sister and her boyfriend bought like a shell of a cabin, and they were like, you can live in it, but you have to do all the work, basically, the bulk of the work. So I put up all the insulation, drywall. I'm going to build cabinets and furniture, paint it, flooring, all that stuff.
And how many acres is the property?
Right now she has about I want to say 5 acres, like 4.5 acres. But hopefully she's going to be purchasing at least 10 acres, if not another 20 acres. So she's going to, hopefully in the next few months, they're going to have 34 acres.
And the great thing for you, being Sean, is that you can't hear anything. Like there's nobody around to hear anything, so you can pretty much like murder anyone.
Yeah, I know. I've tried it about 3 times, and nobody's noticed. I'm kidding. By the way, if anyone's listening, who could possibly put me in jail. But
and record. You can record. That's good.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
That I could be as loud as I wanted to for music, but you went with
murder.
Burying bodies. Yeah, murder.
Yeah. You know what? Something I looked into recently, because I've been on a kick of like audio production. My work gives me free courses on LinkedIn, and I think the idea is that you use them for stuff like business management skills, leadership, and things like that. And of course, they have all these courses on everything that's cool, like audio production, mixing, mastering. So I'm making my way through those. I more recently looked into doing audio for like film. I know you wanted to make a short film. Um, Let me tell you, it sounds like it's a huge pain in the ass though to do audio for film, um, or to get like
Yeah,
good sound.
like Foley and stuff. Yeah, well, I have this a field recorder that I'm hoping I can do most of the sound live. I don't know. I don't. I want to try to avoid, at least with the short films, like doing Foley.
Oh, that part of it actually sounds fun and cool to me.
What?
But it's like
What?
if you have like multiple tracks and trying to line everything up according to like the film that gets cut up. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you have all the dialogue bits and all the different scenes and everything. But if you're trying to match it up to the cuts, then like, I don't know how they do that. Like, it seems very,
Well, I feel like the Foley happens after the final cut. Right?
yeah, yeah. If you use separate
Yeah.
mics for, dialogue, background sounds, and things like that,
Yeah, there's a movie called shoot, I can't remember the name of it, but it's about a bunch of people making independent film, and there's one part where they film room ambience, and it's kind of an artsy film, and so like the sound guy, it's like, all right, we're recording the room, and everyone just sits there completely quiet. And like it's a really weird moment in the movie where everyone's just sort of sitting there and they're recording a few minutes of just room ambience in order to be able to match up, like when you cut to different takes and everything, the background noise can be slightly different, so you take out all the background noise and you put in that,
oh,
so it sounds exactly the same, because just the little tiny noises and everything don't line up perfectly, even if it's just like a noise.
yeah. It's
So
stuff
they
like that.
record, yeah. So they record an ambience, and they take it all out of the final cut, and then they put in 5 minutes of actual ambience over top of like what could be maybe a dozen cuts.
Interesting.
In the same room. And because I don't know if you've ever seen a badly made film and they cut to it like between people talking and there's like a buzz and a different noise, and it just like it eliminates all that issue that happens,
Yeah.
and it's like obvious when it cuts, the sound's completely different. Yeah.
The other thing that looks like very difficult to pull off is car dialogue, because there's so much noise. And they have to go through, extensive things just to like block out as much noise as they can. And then also keeping everything organized. Like, I'm very bad about keeping my tracks labeled and organized properly as I go along and do things as I record and as I mix. I need to get better about that, but with film, it's especially important, just given all of the all the scenes and all the takes, and you can't spend all your time listening to, well, which one was that one, and scrolling through all of them.
Yeah, I was thinking about the idea I have for a short film, which I can film here. I think I can do it by myself. But I was thinking there's like one part where there's like somebody in the background talking, like far away, going, "Hey, I'll catch up later," And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to record that at a different time, because I'm gonna be carrying the camera, because it's a POV, first person kind of thing. The person's walking away, and then in the background there's a voice. So I'm gonna have to make sure that when I'm doing all the recordings, because I'm gonna have a separate recording, because I have a field recorder and then I have the video and I have the video camera. I'm gonna have to keep them separate, but then I'm gonna have to go through and make sure that like this video is matched up to this audio, right? And that's
Yeah.
and when I thought about it, those slates that
Yeah.
they use, that they snap in front of it, and take one. Well, they say take one and snap it so you can match the audio with the video.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's what that snap is. And then written visually on there is scene blah 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 take two, and then the person who's snapping it says, well, scene take two, and that's how they match up the audio with the video in the old school when it was done in two separate places. And I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to make myself a little director's slate, and I'm kind of excited about it. I'm gonna make it out of cedar. It's gonna be great.
That's your signature wood.
Yeah, it is. Cedar by Seethan.
You should start an Etsy shop.
I kind of want to.
Yeah.
I've been trying to sell that Han Solo gun for that I made out of cedar on eBay, but there's no
takers.
no takers.
I think you might have to. It's like more specialty, and you have to take it out somewhere. That kind of thing.
I really thought there'd be some really dorky person who was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool," but I think they're all like, "That's not the real gun. It wasn't made out of wood." That's how I picture Star Wars fans, but
You're a Star Wars fan.
I am. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Is that
That's
how
how
you
I
are?
picture myself. I said when I posted it, I was like, "It's not supposed to be made out of wood." Fuck it. There's a ladybug in my room. It's crawling on my monitor. I thought ladybugs are supposed to be like asleep right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I tried to pick it up and I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. It's upside down. Did I kill it? Oh no.
No.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can rescue it. All right. This is a live rescue of a ladybug.
Put it up to the camera. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
There.
It's like January in the North Country.
It's still on my. Yeah, it's like 6 degrees out. It's still still on my hand here. It's asleep. Hey, wake up! It's really beautiful, actually. Bring this closer to me. It's got a lot of spots on it, and isn't it if you find a ladybug with a lot of spots on it, it means you're gonna get a lot of money or a harem of women when you die or something.
I don't know. I've never heard either of those.
Either have I. I'm making it up because I want it to be true.
You could always fly a plane into a building.
Oh my god! I think the harem of women. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. 9/11 jokes.
Oh yeah, they're always funny.
Yeah.
Well, this ladybug won't get off my my hand here, no matter what I do.
You made a new friend. You should name him, her, him, they.
I will call it. Oh, who wrote Silas? The miser story. Elliot.
Okay.
I will name them Elliot, which is a relatively androgynous name. It used to be a woman's name or a man's name. Now
Really?
it's just a man's
I've
name.
only okay. Yeah.
Well, on Scrubs, the one of the main characters, her name's Elliot.
Okay.
So, hi, Elliot.
All right.
Do you want to play a song?
Yeah, let's do that. I think that's
Not live. I guess we can play it first, and then we can talk about how it came to fruition.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
All right, and can you? Is there a way to put like something up so we can take a break? We don't have to sit here.
No, we have to sit here.
Well, I'm not going to sit here.
Okay. Well, you can go.
You-
I'll just sit. And then people will be like if anyone joins, people will see your empty chair and I'm sitting here while the music is playing. So,
I like that idea actually a lot.
okay. Yeah, go do your thing.
Well, hit play first.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what.
He goes up the stairs, he goes up the stairs to the fire escape, to the life escape. He goes out the door, he goes out the door to sell and liquidate to close his estate. Heels off the ledge, he's raised off the ledge now. All his toes are clenched, his whole body's clenched. Release from gravity's pull, pushing down on the air all around. No bottom to hit, he's not falling for it. Rocks all the way down. Feeling like a finch, small and delicate. Seeing stories down that's so magnificent. All his friends below, he now leaves behind to join the grouse to the south for the warm air. Release from gravity's pull, pushing down on the air all around. No bottom to hit, he's not falling for it. Rocks all the way down.
And we're back.
Yay.
And there is another ladybug in here.
An infestation.
Crazy. That's crazy. Where are they coming from? I got
Okay.
2 ladybugs now. Elliot and what's the other guy from Scrubs? The main
Zach Braff
main guy from
character?
Scrubs. Yeah, what's his name?
I don't know. I never watched that show.
Oh, it's gonna kill me. I wish there were people watching. Are there? If there's anybody
I don't
out
know.
there, please, what was Zach Braff's character's name in Scrubs? That is the name of this other ladybug that just appeared.
Can you tell them apart?
Uh, not that I can tell. This one, he might climb on to the. Oh, he just flew. Whoa, whoa.
I saw it drop on the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, we got to get over this ladybug thing. Moving on. So that song is either called "Falling," the Falling Man.
I think the Falling Man, right?
The Falling Man or the Flying Man, and I think I want to talk about that first. Why it's called either the Falling Man or the Flying Man.
I wrote the
Do you
lyrics
remember?
based on your suggestion, so I think
Right.
you have to explain it.
Okay, so we went on one of our many cigarette breaks. We were talking about things, and I think we were talking about making theme music for 80s TV shows that didn't exist, right? Something like that.
That was, yeah, I remember that conversation.
And we were trying to figure out one, and I said I want to see a show where some man is completely down on his luck and goes to kill himself by throwing himself off a building, and then he finds out he can fly. And the show is about this horribly depressed man who's just learned that he has this super ability. And then we spent all this time setting up the basement. And you can talk about that for
Yeah.
what we were planning on doing. And
We had, I mean, I'm always rearranging my house, but like in particular, we arranged the basement because we were going to start a stream. And then you moved. That was,
yeah, then I had a psychotic breakdown basically, and I needed a respite from somewhere, and
Yeah.
my sister was up here in a beautiful area, and I had done well before up here, so that's where I am.
and I'm very happy that you're doing well up there. Rather you be up there doing well and not, being out of your mind down here.
I was.
While being able to stream with you, in person.
Yeah, Delaware was not being nice to me. Like,
You had a bad, rough patch.
bad few years, basically. I guess things are better now.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about that a little bit more in depth after we talk about the song.
Okay. So we did set up a bunch of gear and like a sort of long view of my basement so that you could all the instruments were set up so they were easily accessible to us, and then we just jammed, and that's something we came up with together. Like everything that we've played on this show has pretty much been like one of our songs. Like we record on each other's songs, but it was like very specifically, oh, I wrote this, let's flesh it out, okay, or you wrote this, blah blah blah. But I feel like this is the first song that we worked on together collaboratively, but also without like creative boundaries. So like, just okay, well, let's throw that little mono synth line as like a point of interest, or just sampled drums. So
Yeah, and you did come up with part of the verse on the spot there. So like that, the lyrics weren't a complete afterthought,
right, yeah, there was that.
and it was fun. Like I think I did a piano part first.
Mm-hmm.
So I played a piano part, we looped it, and then I did a guitar part.
Yeah, the acoustic thing,
Mm-hmm.
finger
We
picked.
looped it, and then I did a bass. No, I think maybe you did a synth part, and I
Yeah,
did
the little
bass.
pad.
And then we took a break and figured out where it was going from there. And I basically was like, we should do this, and kind of forced you to play a certain guitar part.
Yeah. I think
And then
also during this time, your sister was napping on this couch.
yeah. She was asleep upstairs while we were doing it, and I remember telling her, I was like, "Hi, what did it sound like?" She's like, "I don't know, I was asleep." I was like, "You didn't hear any of it, man? I thought we were like, I thought for sure she could hear it and was like, wow, that's really magical." She didn't,
I
and
like
I
it.
played it for. I really like it too. I played it for her later, and I was like, "This is what we wrote while you were asleep." She was like, "Huh."
Yeah, that's the right
you know,
reaction for a person
it
that you
is.
know.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what you
it's-
expect. Exactly.
Yeah, there's only been a few times that somebody like there was. I posted that song sometimes that we played the last time we did this,
Yeah.
and somebody really liked it and actually bought the digital download of it, and that was cool. So I actually
Awesome.
made money off of it. $5, but I only got $3.41 of it.
Yeah, that's better than like Spotify, right?
Yeah, Bandcamp.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm a professional musician. I've sold music.
All right. Big leagues.
So yeah, so that song is supposed to be like the it's not, but I feel like it could be the theme to a TV show that doesn't exist.
I would like to say that there's a line in there that was specifically inspired by my travels to New York. I wrote it while I was up there, and it's with the grouse to the south for the warmer air. But I had no idea what a grouse was until you told me while I was up there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a partridge. There was one, and I believe it was nesting in a pile of wood I had made by a campsite that I was working on, and I sat down to have a cigarette, and I guess me finally sitting down cued it to like get out of there. And grouses are the sloppiest, dumbest birds. Like they run crazy, and they fall all over the place, and they try to fly, and they can barely fly, so they like fly for a little bit, fall, and it was just like through, and I was like, what the hell? And I look over, and there's this big dumb bird and flies away. And I'm like, and that was the first time I saw the grouse, or even, I mean, I only knew what a grouse was because of my sister saying, oh yeah, there's grouses around here, they're big dumb birds. And it was big. It was like the size of a large chicken, like that. Like I don't know if you've seen a big chicken, but they can get pretty big. But yeah, I don't know if they go south for the winter.
Do people eat them?
Probably. In North Country's kind of like the sticks. So, oh, you know what's really funny? So I feel like this is kind of the sticks where I am. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
There's a little gas station / bait shop kind of thing that you would imagine being in the sticks, and I was there, and there's a bunch of teenagers, and they were talking about someone living out in the sticks. What's the sticks of the sticks, right? And I mentioned it to my sister, and she was like, this isn't the sticks. And I was like, yes, it is. This is the sticks. And she's like, well, it's all relative. And I'm like, yeah, that's what the sticks is relative. There is the suburbs, and then there's the sticks. And then I was like, what does that even mean? Why do we say sticks? You know how I always want to know where things come from? Do you know where the term sticks come from?
I'm assuming it's because of the forest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it sticks as a nickname for trees in England, actually, and like, so living out in the sticks is living out in the woods.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know it on that level.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, we literally live in the sticks.
Yeah,
Kelly.
you really do.
There are sticks all around us.
When I'm driving up there, I'm terrified that my car will break down or I'll get into an accident because there's no one around and I don't have any cell phone reception. There's not that many cars passing by. So I think that qualifies as the sticks.
Yeah, I know. I don't have any. I barely have phone reception up here. The internet is spotty at best. Like it's the sticks. So it was just funny to hear these like teenagers who grew up here talking about, oh, he lives way out in the sticks. And I'm like, whoa, it's like underground somewhere. Like what's the sticks of the sticks?
Yeah. I like that it's kind of a song about suicide, but it's one that you can dance to.
Yeah, it's but I'd like but I want to say that it is about suicide, but it's about a suicide attempt that fails ultimately and exposes a superpower.
Yeah, the guy thrives. The guy's thriving.
Yeah, I'm not clear as to what he's jumping off of when I listen to the lyrics, though.
If I had
'Cause
to,
if the fire escape part, I'm like, okay, so he's on a building, but then rocks all the way down makes me think he's like on a bridge.
yeah, I don't know. I was just throwing words out there, but
Oh,
like,
don't say that! Damn it! I thought you were gonna have some
shit.
like real meaningful explanation.
I
for
have
it.
the
I thought I
reason
was
why-
setting you up for it.
the reason why I put, so release from gravity's pull. I was pushing on the air all around. There's no bottom to hit, so like he's not going to hit rock bottom.
Yeah, it's clever lyrics.
Also,
you're
he's
not falling for it.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not fooled into. But also, have you heard that phrase with the people who? I think it's like turtles all the way down.
Yeah, I was gonna say turtles all the way down.
Yeah, I wanted it to be
Which
a little
that means
suggestive
whenever-
of that.
That that just means everything's going to shit.
Yeah, so it's not really like there's no rock bottom, but you're hitting a bunch of rocks.
But there's rocks.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So-
I get it. That's okay. So it's like a portmanteau of rock bottom and turtles all the way down.
Yeah,
All right. I got it.
and I wouldn't expect anyone to take that, come away with it, because generally I leave it a little open ended. But
I did think of turtles all the way down. I did think of that, but only because of that song, "Turtles All the Way Down"
yeah,
by Sturgill Simpson.
okay, good.
Is it Sturgill Simpson? Sturgill Simpson.
I don't know the song. I only know the
Turtles All Way
phrase.
Down. Yeah, he did a song called "Turtles All the Way Down." It's like psychedelic country. That's the best way I can explain it.
Okay. Also, I think I think the closest analogy to that song would be like, have you seen the Afterlife with Ricky Gervais?
No, but
Okay.
I've been told to watch it, and I've been told, and I've seen like maybe the first episode. That's where his wife's dead, and she's left him videos.
Yeah. And it's not gonna spoil anything if I say this, but it's like he's so depressed and he just stops giving a fuck about anything, and he has this superpower, or he says it's like a superpower where he can just say anything to anyone and he just doesn't care, whereas other people don't have that. So
Yeah,
In my
Brian
mind-
had told me.
go ahead.
Brian had mentioned that there's a part where a recovering addict was like talking to him, and Ricky Gervais's character was like, "Well, what would you do if you had all the money in the world?" And he was like, "I'd buy all the drugs I could possibly buy, and do them." And he was like, "Well, here's the money," and gave him the money for it, and then the guy overdosed and died.
Hmm.
That's some dark shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
It's a very dark show. I think they should have stopped after one season. I thought like one season was good, and I didn't get too far into the second. But
I'll check it out. I like most of what Ricky Gervais does. He's got a weird honestness about his stuff that is enjoyable.
yeah. But kind of segues into what into the circumstances of
Yeah. So I've always been kind of clinically depressed most of my life. And now I'm doing a lot better. I'm on better medicine for it and stuff. And kind of actually the most recent medicine I was on, I felt normal for the first time I can remember. But I had a few days earlier, and where like at work, like they were like, you're doing a shitty job, and it was affecting other people, and other people were kind of ticked off at me. And then like I was working on music and I couldn't get it right, and then I got my car stuck halfway up the driveway here because of the snow and everything. And then and my sister when I was stuck, my sister like ran out with like in her like stocking feet, and she's like, "Stop spinning the wheels! You're making it!" Like everything I was doing was wrong for like these few days, and I just started becoming really acutely aware of my shortcomings and how people don't really give a shit about you. I know it's horrible to say, but like they really don't. You know what I mean? Like you care about yourself, and then if you're asked to, or you realize it, you care about someone else, but like you're not going to constantly care about someone or be thinking of somebody. And I realized that kind of made me feel alone again, and I was kind of getting down again, and it made me realize that depression is honesty. Like a lot of times people say depression lies. Have you ever heard that term?
Mm-hmm.
I think depression doesn't lie. I think it lets you be more aware of all the terrible things, and then gives all those terrible things a little bit more sustain. So instead of being like, oh God, that was the idiot thing I did, and you move on with your day, it just stays with you. But and then that made me real, and I was like, well, then what is being happy? But ignoring all those horrible things about yourself and the things around you. And I'm like, well, isn't that a dishonest way of living? And then I started thinking about it like, well, also when I'm depressed, I don't enjoy the things that I used to enjoy, and I think it's because you only see the faults in them and the stupidness of them and the waste of time of them. But when you're not depressed, you can ignore all those things and you just get to the core of what's enjoyable about it. And then taking that to a macro level, it's the same with life. When you're depressed, you see all those things wrong with it and you don't enjoy it. But when you're happy, you can ignore those bad things and you enjoy the other things. And when I look at it that way, it's easier for me to shrug off the bad days.
Yeah, it's a lot of. Oh.
And the only reason I brought it up is because I had a pretty horrible suicide attempt in my complete descent into alcoholism again, and just like being laid off and having nothing. And that's kind of why I moved up here. My sister was like, you can't stay down there by yourself. You're a danger to yourself. And I was I was very, very afraid of myself and afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
So
I think we speaking for myself and your other friends and your sister, we were all concerned, very, very concerned. We're like, oh shit, is Sean going to make it another week? Is he gonna make it?
Probably not.
I mean, like, it was very much okay. I hope this isn't the last time I see him. And then
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, I hate that I put people through it, and it wasn't the cry for help kind of thing. Like I didn't want help. I wanted just out of it. You know, I wanted.
I don't know that
Like
you put anyone through anything. I think people like some people. I think it stresses. It might stress some people out, but then other times, they like to be there for their friends. You know, they like to. I don't want to make it sound
but if I had,
like they like to feel needed, and but the way you do that is to try to kill yourself and bring about. You know,
that's not why I did it though. I mean, but I did it because I just didn't want anything that what life was offering at the time, and there was nobody that could change my mind or offer me differently. I was in just in a real dark place.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Jeremy during the last few bad days I was having, and that one of the things I think I struggle with is that through my parents' death and my divorce and my basically losing everything, and it happened again during the pandemic, and then the world being really sick kind of made me harder for me to get out of it. But what happened is I completely destroyed my like core values. So I didn't have my core values anymore, and I think there was a long time where I was like, I don't know who I am. I don't know if I'm a person. I don't know, like, I don't even know if I exist unless somebody's witnessing me, you know? And I think it was because my core values were gone. Like, I didn't know what was important to me anymore. And I feel like coming to a place in the mountains with trees all around me, you really start to realize what's important to you. You know, you don't have all the noise and haste around you, and suddenly you're like, these are the things that are important to me. These are the things that are really important to me, and there's nobody around me to tell me that it's stupid or it's dumb, or that, oh, you're really good at it, Sean. So suddenly all it is you figuring it out. And I'm still working on it, but I realize I have to rebuild my core values.
Have you? Is that something that came about through therapy? What you just said right
No.
now, because it
No.
seems very insightful. No, that's all I had.
I mean, oh, yeah, that's all I have. Can you pass the microphone to the person behind you? Yes, sir. You have another question? No, sorry. No, I mean, yes, the idea of core values I wasn't even really aware of until therapy. But I didn't think that I lost my core values until I started to find them.
That makes sense.
And then I was like, wow, I didn't have these before. Nihilism was my core value.
yeah. So,
I'm still nihilistic.
yeah, there's still that, like, I don't think that ever really goes away all the way.
No.
It's like managed. You manage it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a still.
You do it anyway.
Yeah. And you try to flip it so that it works in your favor. Like when something goes bad and you're like, fuck it. I'll go on with my life.
Yeah, I realized that when that whole yin and yang sense, that like if everything is meaningless, then that's just a little notch away from everything being meaningful.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah.
If you understand what I mean. Like if nothing means anything, then you can assign your own meaning to anything. You know? And instead of there being certain things that are meaningful, that you have to believe in, everything's on a neutral ground where you get to pick and choose.
I also feel that it's kind of a non-statement in that let's say music, it's meaningless. The pursuit of music and creation is meaningless and not worthwhile to pursue. But like that statement itself is also, by that, the same set of rules, it's also meaningless.
Yeah.
So like there's not really, I feel like you can't use a statement that works against itself to negate something else. But
Yeah, if everything's meaningless, then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like suddenly, well, then meaning doesn't exist either. So then there you're at a zero sum.
Yeah, zero
at that
sum.
point.
So, are you still working on your album?
Yes, actually, the intro music was part of it without the vocals. A song called "A Fist to the Face."
I've been enjoying that, and we didn't really talk about the intro music, but I really do like the change from part A to part B, to where like the guitar comes in, the electric guitar with a wah.
It's so corny. I love it. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
a-
if
it's
it's
a-
corny.
No, it is like the oldest musician's trick, right? To go from something kind of minor or kind of like droney or whatever, and then to
Snap
pop it right
in.
into yeah.
Yeah, I used to call it tightening up. Like I would write songs where it was sort of like jangly and loose, and then we snap it into beat. You snap it into something that's crisp and on beat. I still like that. This song, after I laid it down, actually kind of, I didn't realize how Pink Floyd influenced it was until, like, the arpeggios, they're on keyboard, but they originally were written on guitar, kind of reminiscent of like Us and Them from Dark Side of the Moon, and the change from major to minor is very reminiscent of like Comfortably Numb. Like how
Yeah.
Comfortably Numb goes from that B minor, and the song's in B minor, and then it goes bam, and that D major hits, and it feels so freeing and
They do that a
delightful.
lot, I think, and they're really good at it, of that, building that tension or that discomfort, and then giving you that release.
Yeah, and I think I was trying to do that, and inadvertently, my internal references were Pink Floyd. So the song ends up kind of sounding Pink Floydish. Not really though. I mean, it's much cornier. I really wanted, I hate to use the word corny, but like triumphantly uplifting is what I wanted it to sound like. And it's counter to what the lyrics are. So the lyrics are like, the verses are very mundane and kind of just sort of explaining what's happening in a ski trip. And then the chorus is a guy getting punched in the face for hitting on somebody's girlfriend, right? So like it's really dark, and it's talking about like, oh, we're gonna head up this trail up the mountain, right? And it's all dark. And then when the chorus hits, it's all happy and uplifting, but some guy's getting beat up, and then it goes back to being mundane, and it's back to the dark key again. And I just kind of like that juxtaposition of like it's so uplifting, but with what's actually happening in the story is not
Yeah.
uplifting at all.
That kind of contrast is always good.
Well, yeah, I talk about this like people are gonna actually like listen to it and analyze it. But that's one of my core beliefs. Like one of the things that I like, I think a therapist told me that children do it, where they pretend. It's called like perceived audience, where you pretend that there's an audience.
That's what we're doing right now, right?
Yeah, it's I enjoy it. When I'm working on like spackling, something really mundane, I in my head pretend I'm on some sort of like documentary or how-to video where I'm showing someone how to do it, and in my head I'm like being interviewed and going, well, you want to, spackle it down the middle and you want to swipe it, and that's how I a lot of the times when I'm just in my head, I'm pretending that I'm important and being interviewed for what I'm doing.
And I think that's probably a lot funner than like actual attention from real people.
Yeah, no, definitely, because real people don't give a crap.
Oh. And they're mean and like scary. I don't know. Like
Indifference is always I'd rather have somebody say, I hate your stuff. Because at least they're like responding to it,
it makes an impact on them.
Yeah, and I know you can't ask somebody to be excited about something, so at least I have supportive people in my life, if not fans.
So you have an outro song. Is that also part of your album?
No, it was a song I wrote almost 20 years ago. I had get my guitar. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So I had just gotten out of a horrible relationship. And I moved into this house, and I was the only person there, and the only piece of furniture I had was a chair, like a comfy chair, and I would just sit in the comfy chair and drink. And it was the beginning of my alcoholism, because basically I was reading a book and there was a character named Brandy Alexander in it, and I was like, I've never had a Brandy Alexander. So I went and bought some brandy and some cream, and I really didn't like Brandy Alexanders. But I had this bottle of brandy, so I started doing like brandy and Coke. And then I just started drinking every single night. And then I wrote this song called Empty House. And it was about me realizing that I couldn't fall asleep unless I was drinking.
Okay.
And this is the instrumental version of it.
All right.
So, all right, guys. I hope we didn't depress you too bad.
I hope we did a little. And I mean, that's the show. Blue and gray colors of depression.
Yeah. Well, again, if you do listen to this, please comment the name of Zach Braff's character from Scrubs.
Yes.
All right. And I will play us out.
All right.
Yeah.